Okay, you guys, we're already on week 5 of our book. You know what that means? Only 1 week left. That's crazy. That's crazy. But it's just kind of like a launching into how easy is it going to be for you as you make your New Year's resolutions and make your plans. Like you guys haven't waited until January 1st. Like in January 1st, you're not going to be sitting around going like, what's my word of the year and what am I going to work on this year? It's totally going to be like, I've got this. You already know what your plan is. You already know what you have going on. So anyway, week 5, tell me, so who worked on your future board? Did anybody actually print pictures and start putting it together?
Okay, I have a problem.
Tell me.
Well, I can't do it. I can do it. I just need help.
Okay.
So the things like the house and the car and the travel and I can do that. That is
Yeah.
easy for me.
Yes.
But the relationship ones
Yeah.
I am struggling. I don't know what I want that to look like.
Okay. So relationships, things like with you and your think about like for you, what is a fun, good, happy amount of like good girlfriends? Like friends that you do stuff with. Like we as a Plexus team, we're good friends. And I'm so grateful for you guys. And you guys all know that like when I barely left my house because of my brain and social anxiety and all that, like you guys were my friends. Like this is what we did, right? Um, but you've got to have friends that you do stuff with in person, that you plan things with. I mean, there's scientific research showing how good it is for your health and your longevity to like actually have some really good girlfriends or friends. I say girlfriends because you're all girls on here, but you know what I mean? Like it's really, that has been my favorite part of getting really healthy, is having friends that I hang out with, that I do stuff with, that I meet up with. I mean, Jessica on this call is one of my favorite people here in Fort Lauderdale. Like at any time, I can, either one of us text and go, hey, you want to go over to the club? Or hey, you want to do this? Or whatever. And that face-to-face interaction and just sitting down and hanging out is really amazing. So what do friendships look like? Do you escape your children and go to the movies where it's just quiet and you can relax? Or do you go on walks together in the morning? Do you load up your strollers and you go on walks? Do you meet at the gym for an hour a day? Like what in your mind do your friendships look like? You know, what are you doing? Where are you hanging out? Like you guys know, for me, like I last year started my fun little exercise group, and we would go to Pilates together, yoga together, go on walks together. And that's what was so fun for me, is being active with friends. So having friends and then having images in your mind of what are you doing together. And then also, I think I mentioned this last time, it's something Sarah pointed out when she went through all of my pictures, is that I was missing intimate pictures, not intimate, not like people making out on my wall, but more like intimate images of like a husband and wife for Rob and I, to indicate like, so what are things I want to do just alone with my husband? And so much of what he always wants to do and what we love doing and relax doing is going, we actually don't go to the beach hardly ever. That is a quarter of a mile down the road. But when we travel, he always wants to go to the beach. He wants to relax. He wants to lay in the sand. But what do we like to do together, just of us? And it can be like a picture of a couple holding hands walking down the beach, or, you know, holding hands walking through, posing in front of like Egyptian, whatever it is Is that helpful in relationships?
Yeah, I need to just figure out what it is I want to do with those
Correct.
relationships.
Because like anything, you know, and unless you know what you want, you're not actually going to do anything. So if it is like a fun workout group, like if you decide that's what it is, hey, I want a group of girls that are like working out with me, you know, um, and it doesn't have to be crazy. Like I would go on walks with my girlfriends, but then go to the gym to lift weights because everybody didn't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So what does that look like? Because then you create a group. You've got girlfriends at church, or, you know, you guys, there's the neighborhood Facebook groups, and you can create like, and here's the thing, there may be like 10 people like, yeah, I'm in. And what happens is people slowly, you get along great, and you kind of mesh and blend, or you don't, and they kind of fall off. Um, and that's a little scary, right? Because we're just all encompassed with our family. And that's what we do, and that's who we are. But it's so important to have friends that we can just hang out with. So that's what relationships looks like. Okay, Tiffany Johnson.
All right, so my question is, I'm working on all my boards on Pinterest, and how many are we supposed to put in the master future board to print out and put on the board? Like, is there a number we're going for? Is there like one per dream? What are we looking at?
For anybody wondering, here's my green personality that wants exact instructions on how things should be done.
Yes, here's my thinker side. Thinker question of the day.
Here's my girl that wants a prescription with this step 1, 2, 3, and 4 that she can follow exactly and do it.
Tiffany, you're a recipe follower, right?
I do
Really?
not actually follow recipes. I will dash this and sprinkle that and substitute this. My husband, it drives him nuts. And I'm like, it doesn't really matter. But now I want a recipe.
You want a recipe?
I need to know how many to print out. I need to know where to put them.
So there is no exact answer. It is when you look at them, what really touches your heart. And you may have more in one area and less than another. I think I have about 4 for each on average. When she told me to increase my like intimacy type pictures so that I spent time, because sometimes you guys that have known me for a long time, I can get a little goal focused crazy, and my attention to my husband may fall by the wayside because I'm so dug into whatever I'm trying to accomplish. So by having those pictures on my future board, it reminds me like what's really important and one of my focuses. So there's 3 of those. I'm looking, I have, you know, a couple cars, 3 to 4. But if there's some area that you're really dug deep in and that you're super obsessed with, that's what we're talking today about, is obsession, then do more. But make sure you include everything. And some can be crisscross. So like Tiffany Adams talking about relationships, a lot of my relationships are my girls on my Plexus team. So they crisscross a little bit. So whereas I do like have on my vision board, like going out on a boat with my girlfriends and things like that, I also have a group of girls in Hawaii because I want everybody on my Plexus team to earn this trip in Hawaii. So there's some crisscross because relationships also can be a mentor. It can be your team. So there's crisscrossing things. So there's not a magic number, but is that helpful? Okay. What else? Anybody else getting their board, their pictures printed out and put together? Erin?
I'm having a problem finding those pictures that speak to me.
Okay.
I have an idea in my mind, but when I go on Pinterest, I'm not necessarily finding the ones that actually speak to me per se.
Okay.
It's an idea, but it's not it for sure.
So that usually just takes, well, more time and more digging. But for example, like give me an example of something that you're struggling to find pictures for that touch you. Because I know there's, I hear what you're saying. There's pictures out there, but not ones that like light your heart on fire where you look at it and you go like, that's me.
So one of the things that I was looking at is taking, going on a trip with my husband on a private, jet,
Mm-hmm.
me, my husband, and my dog, and, just kind of typing in different things, and I find different things, but it's like, no, that's not, I find pictures with different things like that, but it just doesn't, I don't know, doesn't fit per se.
So, and I'm sure you're doing this, but changing up the wording, sometimes maybe get broader and narrow in rather than specific. And don't be afraid to use Google, because if you find a picture on Google, you can pin it to your Pinterest page.
Yeah. Which I haven't tried that.
Yeah, because I know there was one area that I really wanted on my future board, and I couldn't find it. I just couldn't find a picture of what I was envisioning on Pinterest. And so she said, go to Google, because in Google you can be more precise about what you're doing, and then pin it to your Pinterest page. Okay, you got freedom to find those pictures anywhere. And the good thing about having them on Pinterest is because anytime, anywhere, if you're sitting at lunch or sitting in the drive-through line at Chick-fil-A, you can click on your Pinterest board and start looking at your pictures and refocus yourself, right? But you may find a picture somewhere else, some other thing, a travel brochure or something, that it might be perfect, and you might just cut it out. You're not limited to Pinterest. That's just a helpful place to store things. Okay. So has anybody actually started printing pictures, or are you still kind of slow in this process? Both Tiffany's saying no. Crystalline?
I'm still working on my Pinterest stuff. I've got quite a bit. Now I've got to just narrow everything down and decide what couple of things I really want in each category.
Okay. That's good. Is that something you guys can keep working on this week?
Yes.
For sure. Okay. Debbie, were you going to say something?
No, just, I'm good.
Okay. Okay. So, here's another question for you. As you are pinning things and working on your future board and working on, as you write goals and dreams down, are you feeling balanced? That's one of the things about having 5 different areas, is you should feel balance in kind of what you're working towards and what you're dreaming of. Are you guys feeling balanced? Are you feeling overwhelmed in one area or super focused in one area? Anybody have thoughts on that?
I feel like when I've been searching Pinterest, Chrissy, to like just find things, I found the most in either wealth and abundance, relationships, or live list. Those are the ones that I for sure have the most in.
Okay. So where do you think you're struggling in career?
That's a very good question. I think what I struggle most with in career is, and I've talked to you about this in length, I'm kind of in that spot where I'm a nurse and I'm doing what I want to do as a nurse. But when I think of career, I think more of development with myself as a leader in Plexus. So I've put things like I would love to present and teach at conventions. So I have a picture of a woman teaching to like a huge auditorium of people. I have a Plexus Lexus on there because in my mind that's, that's something that I'm going to get when I further my career. And I think I also put that one in wealth and abundance.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what it is I just haven't really opened my mind up enough to that.
Yeah.
Whereas like the wealth and abundance and the live listen, that's something that comes really easily to me. And I'm like, yeah, I want a cabin. I want to go here. I want this car. I want, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So that part is, I don't have to delve as deep inside, if that makes sense, to figure those things out.
Yes. Those are things that you've thought about a long time. Once you start delving deep into like career and things like that, you set yourself up for the possibility of failure. And so it's a little scarier. So as an idea, when you're looking, if you actually put in Plexus Convention, like I have actually a picture of the Plexus stage and Marianne speaking on it. But you can see the whole convention stage. It's narrowing it down even more. Does that make sense? So I also have, and this goes for anybody. I think anybody in whatever career you do, they have, you know, different events and celebrations or whatnot. For us, a big thing is to earn the Black Tie Gala. So I actually have a ball gown that I super would love to have to wear to the Black Tie Gala. To me, that's in my career category, because like you said, for you, earning your Lexus means you've done something great. So
like how we're all gonna earn the shopping spree.
Yeah, so put a shopping spree
convention contest this year.
Hey,
Correct.
Christy, I have a question on the career thing, and maybe this is just a block I need to work on with you. So when I think about the Black Tie Gala and all of those types of things, those are something that I would love. Like I loved going to winner's dinner with you and Deanna and everybody last year. That is something that would like massively put my husband out of his comfort zone.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time like saying that that's something that I really super want, because he's the person I would want there with me, obviously, but he would hate it. Like every aspect of it, like the dressing up, the crowd of people, everything. He would hate the whole thing.
So I think you release him from having to go and you take a fun friend.
Okay, I can do that. I'll take Tiff.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have to go. You've seen pictures posted a lot of couples that go. But I can tell you, typically when it's couples that are at this event, it's both of them are high ranked in the company. It's typically you take a girlfriend and you both get dressed up and you have a blast. So remove him from the equation.
Okay, I can do that.
So let's talk about obsession, because hopefully if we can get some conversation about obsession going and how important it is to what we're doing, it may help you also as you work on your boards. So did anybody do the homework, the obsession homework, where you had to write a goal and then write 5 ways that you could kind of entrench yourself more in that goal? Anybody do that? Okay. So let's talk about that for a second. It's a really cool activity. So why obsession? Because obsession really can have a negative connotation in our society, right? It falls right along in that category where people might say it's selfish, or it is in certain religions, it could be misconstrued as I'm trying to find the right words to say it, but not like worshiping something higher than God, but it can be misconstrued as you're more focused on this than you are the higher power that you believe in, which in a lot of faiths can be really negative. Is that making sense?
Yeah, a lot of times it's interpreted as being out of balance.
Okay, that's a good description. So we're going to talk about today why it's super important, and why if we use it in the correct way, it's not a negative thing. It really is just us becoming obsessed with our dreams and our goals, not like obsessed, like I said, above, you know, your family or a higher power, but really just how do you, if you can become obsessed with your goals, they will manifest much quicker. So it really is the key, because if you stay focused on what you really want and why, you're going to work harder. You're going to be focused. You're going to be passionate. Your vision is going to be clear. You're going to be so stinking excited about achieving or obtaining these certain things that mean so much to you. So here's what ideas in how to become obsessed. You can, let's say Tiffany Johnson wants to go on an African safari. We talked about that last week, right? So that's probably something along those lines. Whatnot is going to be on Tiffany Johnson's dream board. And I know, and she knows, she's going, even though we're not putting monetary things on it, she's going to need to do some things and shift some things and get uncomfortable in some things in order to earn more money, even though her husband makes a great living, to provide this really cool trip for her family, right? So that all goes without saying. So how does she stay focused on that African safari dream for her family when she's so busy doing all the day-to-day monotonous things that she has to do? You know, taking care of her 3 kids and, you know, Cooper's health issues and all of that. So ways that she could do it. She could watch movies that are in Africa. She could look for on the Travel Channel or anything like that, like excursions, and watch videos. Like give herself, you know, an hour to just veg out and watch a show that's either based in Africa or has a, you know, they're traveling to Africa, or if there's a, you know, there's like international house hunters. She could look specifically for like people shopping for houses in Africa, just to kind of get because not because she wants to buy a house and move to Africa, but because watching a show like that kind of immerses her in the African culture without being stressful. She could, Tiffany, my sweet friend Tiffany, struggles with reading books, which is one of my passions, but she can Audible. And she is good about Audible. She travels a lot to Nashville for Cooper's treatment. So looking for books, even if they're fiction, that are based in Africa. I bet there's a ton of like fiction books about African safaris, you know, probably where something's gone bad or something's been great, or she met the love of her life while she was wandering in Africa. So those are all things that kind of subconsciously are surrounding you with one of your dreams. But do any of those things sound stressful? Not at all. But what's going to happen is it's going to start being on the forefront. You're going to start noticing things in different areas. You might like see a picture and you're going to know immediately that's in Africa because you've watched a show or you've watched a movie, and you're going to start, the universe is going to start putting things in front of you and around you, and it's going to suddenly feel like you can't get away from this Africa trip. It's going to slowly start bringing it more to you because you've opened up your mind to it. So we all have 24 hours a day, right? Like if you're on my team, I have said to you, like even Warren Buffett only has 24 hours a day. Like what is he doing with his hours that we are not doing? Here's what, during your 24 hours, your mind, if you are awake, even if you're asleep, and I'll tell you, remind me to tell you, like something that Sarah made me start doing weeks ago at night. But your mind is constantly absorbing things. So what are you allowing to go into your mind? What kind of music are you listening to? Sarah said something she even does because she's like obsessed with Italy and moving to Italy. She will also listen to audibles in Italian. She doesn't have any idea what they're saying, but it kind of immerses her in that culture. She also has a language app on her phone where she'll spend about 30 minutes a day doing this language app in the country that she wants, like, loves to visit. She would like to move there one day. But that's just an example of kind of starting to feel yourself there, right? Because if you are, let's say you want to go, I don't know, to Greece. Let's say you want to go to Greece, and you like listen to even, I mean, I remember Andrew as a baby, he would find like YouTube toy videos where the kids were speaking. I don't know what they were speaking. It was like cartoons, and he would watch them and just be entranced with them. And we had no idea what they were speaking. You can likely find YouTube videos of people in whatever country you want to go to and just listen to for a little bit. You would be like stone cold ice if you didn't suddenly feel a little like immersed in that culture, like you were there, if you're listening to them and watching them, even though you don't understand what they're saying, because that's what's going to be like when you're there, right? You're not going to know what they're saying. That's what obsession looks like. It doesn't have to look like ugly. It just looks like replacing other things. So if you normally drive home and listen to music and whatnot, change that to an Audible based on wherever you would like to go. This has been a shift for me since it was introduced to me because, again, those of you who know me know that I was obsessed with self-development YouTube videos, motivational YouTube videos, podcasts where I learned stuff new all the time. And those are good. I have learned a ton from them. I'm not discouraging you from doing those, but I was doing so many that what happens is in my brain, it's just a ton of suggestions. And it's a ton of, you should do this, you should do this, you should try this. How about you try this? How about you shift here? And what's happening in my brain? It's like, what are we supposed to focus on? Like I literally at the gym could listen to 2 hours straight of like how to be a better network marketer. Well, that's a lot of listening to how I could do my job better. And like, yes, there's some skills that I learned, but oftentimes doing it at that level, I can't focus on one thing because by the end of the 2 hours, I don't remember what it taught me to do in the first 15 minutes. So fit that in where you want, but allow your brain to just relax and absorb an audiobook or things like that, if that makes sense, or listen to music in another language, whatever that looks like. But if you work in an office where you kind of can have something playing in the background, like instead of music, maybe have music that's in the other language that of the country you want to go to. So I just rambled a lot about ways to kind of surround yourself with the vision of your dreams. Does any of that type of obsession of way to surround yourself sound like you would be betraying your higher power or the people important to you at all? Tiffany Johnson.
I like to think of it as you're getting excited about it. It's kind of like if you're some people who I've heard go to amusement parks, they watch the YouTube videos of going on the rides before they go on the rides and stuff. And it's a means of getting excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I'm not like going to my safari like next month and getting excited and ready, but I'm getting excited that I can go once I do all the work I got to do.
Yeah. Well, and you're staying focused on it in a fun way. So it's reminding you why you are doing the work that you're doing. Right? So instead of like just looking at your list and going, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, you are reminded, because then when you take a 30-minute break, or you have to just sit and rock Cooper, or whatever that break looks like, you're doing, instead of just watching, you know, Real Housewives or whatever, you maybe don't watch that, but instead of watching something brainless, like, be intentional about the show you're watching. And it doesn't have to be the History Channel or National Geographic. It literally can be like a funny show about whatever. Tiffany?
I got to leave.
Oh, okay. Love you.
Love you.
Bye. So here's the thing, is these kind of tools to have you focused, it can apply to anything, any kind of thing that you want to do. So I noticed, anybody keeping score, I'm really still super trying to do that half marathon in January, even though I've been sick for 3 weeks and haven't done anything until today. I noticed it's been in my mind, and I noticed on Amazon last night when I was watching Miss Maisel, which is amazing if you haven't watched it, that Brittany Runs a Marathon is now on Amazon, which was a movie that I wanted to see that I never saw. And I'm like, I've got to watch Brittany Runs a Marathon. And not like as a brainless, like really, like I have to like be reminded, okay, you can do this. It just keeps you focused. So like questions, thoughts, I've just thrown so much at you, ideas or thoughts on maybe a goal or dream that you have, and you don't know how this would work around it. To Crystal and Tiffany and Debbie, write this down, because I don't know why it didn't occur to me before, but it occurred to me today, to literally start watching a couple diamond documentaries a day. Like, just surround myself with what that looks like. Okay, thoughts, questions? Does anybody want to like share a goal, and then let's talk about how you could get obsessed with it and what that looks like?
I'll chime in.
Yes, Jessica.
So speaking of the marathon thing, because, you know, I just threw that out, and
Yes.
I despise running.
Yes.
But I watched that movie. I think it's the one where she's kind of like I don't know, a mess. And then she just starts running, and it's really funny. Did you watch it yet?
Not yet. It might be tonight.
But that kind of also like inspired me as well. What was the question though? Because I had something I wanted to say and now I forget it.
Jess, do you know nobody on this call has ever seen your face?
Oh, really? I think I showed up on the bike once.
Maybe for a second. I don't know.
Are you on the bike now?
I'm not on the bike now, no, but I'm on my phone.
I was just talking about, like, let's talk about a dream and kind of how we get obsessed about it.
Okay. So it's starting from like, I need to get running shoes to training programs and all this stuff. But then I saw that Peloton has a train for the marathon program. So I have the tool. I realized, okay, now I noticed that. I've had the bike for almost 2 years now. I never noticed that we had that. And it's like on my phone. Like I have,
You have
it's
everything you need.
Yes, exactly. I just have to do it.
Isn't that interesting though, that once you started talking about it, and I don't know who else you talked to about it,
Yeah.
just so you guys know about 2 or 3 months ago, Jessica and I were talking, and she literally, we were talking about, we live in the same building, and we were talking about like maybe 2 days a week we meet at the gym, and maybe 3 days a week she gets up, and we're doing this early, which we've not.
It's just not my wheelhouse either.
Yeah, getting up early is not her thing. And so we were like, let's get up early. Let's be accountable. You get on your Peloton. I'm going to run, because she swore she would never run. Running's not my thing. I don't run. I'm not going to run. I'm going to ride my bike. Awesome. You ride your bike while I run. And then what? Just like a week or 2 ago, you said you wanted to run. You had added it to your list.
The New York City Marathon. So I'm very specific about just the energy. I've watched it so many years, and it's so amazing, and the people are amazing, and I just was like, I want to just do it one year instead of watching it.
So she was like, I need to get running shoes. It's not even like she's like, I can run a couple miles, but I don't know if I can run 26. The girl's got to go buy some jogging shoes and some good socks, for heaven's sakes. So, and just in that time, like, she's watching Brittany runs a marathon. And then after 2 years of riding this stinking bike, she realizes it has a marathon training program. I mean, 2 weeks ago, she didn't know diddly squat. She's like, I'm going to do this, but I have no idea what I'm doing. So the universe literally gives you the things that you need once you figure out what you want to do. I mean, no doubt about it, but you got to figure out what you want to do. And then it just starts coming. I don't know, Jess, have you bought the shoes yet?
No.
That might be a next step.
Yes.
And just so you guys know, we don't live in Podunk. There's an amazing running shoe store that literally is about, 100 yards from our front door?
Yeah, I could walk there easily.
Yeah. So
I actually walk by there regularly.
yeah, on the way to the grocery.
Yeah, exactly.
So Jess needs to get some running shoes. But that's part of the baby steps. So what are some other things to surround yourself with about running a marathon? Because I know Crystalline runs a lot and has set some goals. Just what are some other things you could do to kind of be inspired to stay focused on the stream of running?
Set times to run with you.
Yes.
Right.
That, yeah.
And just put it in my calendar and do it.
Yeah.
Just
And
start.
maybe listen to an Audible about a runner or story of runners. There's lots of movies about runners. Did you guys just hear her moan, or was that just me?
Oh, I think I was like agreeing, like, good idea.
Oh yeah. So movies, shows, probably some cool ESPN documentaries about runners.
Okay.
Like just kind of some things that are not overwhelming. So there's some really great training programs. There's all kinds of things like that. But looking at those like is necessary to map it out. But you know, a huge part of running is visualization and visualizing what the finish line looks like. Who's there? Who's cheering you on? What does it feel like? Because running 26 miles sucks. It does. 13 miles is not a big deal. 15 miles is okay. 18 is uncomfortable. 26 sucks. But when you cross the finish line, like, what does that look like? What does that feel like? Like, what kind of soundtrack? Like, start building your music soundtrack. Sometimes, like, I have a running soundtrack on my, it's not a soundtrack, but a running playlist on my Spotify that, you know, when I don't feel like doing anything, when I'm like, I'm good to just walk and watch Hulu on the treadmill, literally, if I hit play, I have to jog. As slow as I jog, I still have to jog, because when that music starts, That's my running music. So have a playlist. You know what else I have, and this applies to anybody with any of your dreams or any of your obsessions. I have, and I call it my inspirational playlist on my Spotify. And if I am feeling funky or down, or somebody has hurt my feelings, or things aren't going the way I think they should, that's what I listen to. And it's got songs, like one of my favorite songs by Katy Perry with, let's see, where's my inspiration? Hold on, I just want to look at it. So Rise by Katy Perry. I'm a big fan of Kelly Clarkson, so it has Stronger on it, and Catch My Breath. And if you've ever really listened to the words of Catch My Breath, it has just some, it's got Fight Song, A Million Dreams. So songs that I know when I listen to them, they mean something. I've got some older songs, like my kids look at this and they're like, girl, like your playlist is 40 years old. I mean, I have Total Eclipse of the Heart by Bonnie Tyler. I don't know when that was done, but to me, I can tell you exactly when in my childhood that song was around and why, how it was a time when I shifted and did something really good for myself. So when I hear that, it reminds me how strong I am. It takes me back to that time when life was hard and I made a choice and I got stronger and I came out of it stronger. And so that song, while my children may think it's hilarious and sing it at the top of their lungs because they're making fun of me, that song to me reminds me of how strong I am. You guys should have a playlist that does that for you. Do you guys have that? Music is really critical, and that's coming from me. And if Rob was on this listening to this, he and Isaac would be laughing hysterically because they literally tell people that I hate music. And it's not because I hate music. It's for a couple reasons. One is I sing all the words wrong, so I suck at that. Two is I don't know who sings anything, and if you ask me who my favorite artist is, I can't get past Kelly Clarkson and Carrie Underwood, even though I get there's 500 million great people and I love their music. I just don't know that they sing that music. And I always prefer Audible podcasts or trainings over music. So they have declared that I don't like music, but I 100% believe in the power of music. Debbie?
Oh, I'm right there.
Oh,
You just described me to a T.
Yeah, I mean, they, you know the song, oh God, what's the song? I can't even think about it. You know, apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur. Okay, so until about 2 years ago, I thought it was boots with the spurs. And I can sing the whole thing, and now I sing it and go, well, that didn't make any sense at all. But, you know, that's it. That super old song, like, take it to the limit one more time. Until I married Rob, I thought it was Take It to the Lemon. I suck at music. Should be playing and have a purpose. So here's my thing, create playlists that you need at certain times and allow it to play around you, like in your home when you're cleaning or whatnot, or whatever, when you're working out. Have a playlist for everything and be intentional about it and add to it over time. Like sometimes I'll hear a song and I'm like, that's awesome, adding that to my running list. And I'll be honest, I thought my jogging playlist was pretty fantastic, and I played it on a road trip and my children could not stop. I was like, haven't you heard these songs are great? And Isaac's like, Mom, literally that's from when I was in middle school. And I'm like, yeah, but the beat is awesome. And they're like, oh, it doesn't matter because you know whose playlist is? It's mine. They can laugh all day long. So here's what I want you to be super, super aware of what you're putting into your brain. And without meaning to. So I don't mean like studying something. I mean, what are you watching? What are you listening to? What sound is going on? You know, do you play random games on your phone? What do those look like? Because if you're playing games on your phone, then get one of those language apps. I keep wanting to do a language app, and I think I'm scared I'm going to suck at it because I've always sucked at languages, so I still haven't done it, but it's a really good idea. Everything that you do, tweak it so that it engages your dreams. Does that make sense? Is that helpful? Because you're always absorbing what's going on. And then be aware of triggers. So again, if you are, if Jessica's doing something and all of a sudden some other thing pops up, for sure, because she's talked about it out loud, she is getting notifications in her Facebook and Instagram feed about running. For sure, because the world hears it and Big Brother is sending her ads all the time. So instead of being like, oh, like with the ads and with like, how does the world know? Because hasn't everybody experienced that? You've said something or talked about it and then it's in your ads for it or in your feed all the time. Okay, so use that, but when it's good, when it's focused on what you are, to be like, thanks universe, I see you. Like, thank the universe for putting it in front of you and giving you that little trigger to refocus that you're working on that. Like, don't ignore it. Don't be like, oh, I don't want to go run today. Like, look at it and go, okay, I see you, universe. I see you sending me that ad for a trip to Greece. I'm working on it. I'm getting there. So just being grateful for things that pop up. All right, questions, thoughts. How you guys feeling about obsession now? Since has your perception of it shifted since I very first said we're going to focus on obsessions today? Good. Thoughts? Kind of, anybody have questions about what they're, Tiffany Adams, what you got?
So one of my live list things, I've told you this, is I want to go to New York and for like a week or 10 days or 2 weeks or however long and see all the Broadway things. I went with my sister a few years ago and we went and saw Phantom of the Opera, and it was like my most favorite thing we did, and we did all the New York things. And so I want to go back and I want to just spend a week on Broadway and see them all. And so now I'm thinking, oh, I gotta go find like Broadway soundtracks and put them on so I can play them in the car. And
yes. All the soundtracks.
That will be fun.
Yes. And even some of the, a lot of them have books, like it's going to be a long Audible, but listening to Les Mis on Audible, like things like that, like with the ones that you want to see, whether it's, Wicked and you're listening to the Audible, like have the soundtracks playing when you're doing whatever. Part of it is because I have, I set that ridiculous goal of reading 50 books in this year. So the last month has included a lot of Audible. But I have been intentional about what my Audible is because our brain soaks it in without us realizing it. And so my Audibles that I have chosen have all been based in areas that I really want to visit. And typically if I'm doing cleaning or whatnot around the house, like if it's not something where I need to be focused where my mind is, I have my headphones in and I'm listening to Audible and I'm listening to these books. So there's so many ways you can fit it in without like becoming a couch potato, right? I'm not trying to like encourage you guys to like come home at 5 o'clock every day and watch movies. I'm just saying, like, find secret ways. So here's something else that Sarah added to my life. She has, and I will post some of them in the Facebook page, but she started me on guided meditations. So I don't meditate, but here's what I do. When I finish reading at night, then I turn on these guided meditations on my phone and I listen to them, and that's what I fall asleep to. And there's all kinds of them on YouTube. So I've been listening to like an abundant wealth finance one. And it kind of is, how you should have your I am statements and your power mottos, which you guys should be saying twice a day. None of this works really well if you don't truly believe it can. So please be saying your I am statements and your power mottos twice a day out loud. But what was I fixing to say? What was I saying before my I am statements? Debbie, what was I talking
The
about?
guided meditation.
Guided meditation. So it's a lot of that. Thank you, Debbie. It's that. It's you fall asleep to, and apparently there's research and all this stuff, but you fall asleep to, that's when your brain learns a ton, is when it's in that full rest mode. So I fall asleep to this person telling me like I am worthy and I have abundant wealth and I am financially secure and money keeps coming my way, and that's what I fall asleep to every night. So there's different ones based on your focus. I'll add some of the ones that I listen to, but what I have found is now YouTube keeps bringing me you know how YouTube does, it's always suggesting different things. And so and I will tell you, the first couple weeks, my husband was like, whatever that is you're listening to is driving me nuts. I'm like, wait until money is flowing to you, because I am making us listen to this as we go to sleep. And so now he either doesn't say anything or he doesn't notice. I don't know. But that's just another way to surround yourself and control what's being input into your brain, because that has a lot to do with your future, is what's in your brain. All right, questions? We're almost done. Anybody? Who's feeling good about their dreams? At least starting to see them. Is anybody starting to kind of, let me ask you this. Is anybody dreaming bigger right now than they were 5 weeks ago? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Are you starting to feel yourself visualizing it better than you were a few weeks ago?
I think for me, it's really been a mindset shift. I can feel it in that, instead of being like, oh, I wish this would happen, I wish we could do this, I wish this was something we could do, to holy cow, I'm so excited because we're going to get to do this.
We're going to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, totally letting go of the I wish or one day we will, and just be like, we're going to. Like, we don't know what the universe's timing is, right? Like, I don't know when these things will come to me or in what order, but I know they're going to come. Like, if I keep staying focused and having my priorities and doing the things I need to do, they're going to come. And as long as I'm not, upset or bothered by the timing that it's taking or getting frustrated, and I'm just like, I'm noticing, that's where it comes into like noticing the little things. So if an ad pops up about a race, in town in a month, like, be like, thanks, universe. I see you. Thanks for the reminder. Thanks for keeping me focused. And being grateful to the things as they come to us, things will keep coming to us. I mean, that's biblical, right? I mean, that's not even, I'm not making that up. It's biblical. Like, be grateful for the things you're given, say thanks, be good stewards, and you get more. So it's just, we have to do that, and we have to recognize that our dreams are worth that. It's just not a matter of saying we're grateful and thankful each night for our home or our bed or our children. It is like, be thankful for the little things that are leading us towards this. So, okay, everybody froze, which makes, oh no, Debbie's nodding. It's just Tiffany frozen. I was like, did I freeze? No, okay.
Oh.
Any last thoughts from anybody before we Next week's our last week.
No way.
Yeah. Next week's our last week.
That's crazy.
So you guys need to start doing your boards. I would love for you to post things and put things, share some of your, you guys may find a great picture or great something that might inspire somebody else. Share them to the group. Like really actively start putting some of your pictures and your dreams in the group. I would love seeing that. Now that we've done this much work and dug this deep, start sharing. I mean, we're a pretty small group, right? There's like 6 of us active. Like, let's start sharing that stuff in the group. Let's cheer each other on. I may see something that Erin posts and be like, oh, that reminds me, have you seen this, or have you thought about that? And let's really come up with some great dreams and plans together. Because how cool would it be for us to because Sarah recommends you do this once a year. Like if we redid this group in 1 year and we were able to be like, this one happened and this one happened and this happened, and be like, now what? Now we know it works. What are we going to do in 2021? Like, how awesome would that be? I would love that so much.
That'd be cool.
It would be so cool. All right. Anybody need anything before we're done? Okay. I'm going to post the guided meditations. I'm going to post next week's homework and the recording of this call, and then you guys start posting some of your dreams and pictures. Deal? All right. Thank you guys for taking the time. Bye.